two-step. And right then I knew that we were meant to be. We were only one or two steps from forever. When I found out you'd been stepping out on me. So now I'm one slow dance from putting you behind me. Or just stay one step away from finding someone new. Oh, it only takes 1 2-step to remind me that I'm still 1 2-step away from over you.
That's 1 2-step away. April N. Smith here with us today in the studio. That's such an awesome dancing song for sure. How are you today? How long have you been performing? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm doing pretty good today, trying to survive this little hurricane that blew in on us. And so it's a little wet on my end of the world, but other than that, I'm doing good. So, so I've been performing now, back at performing, I guess I should say, since 2017. So a little over 7 years we've been back working at it professionally. And so I grew up around music, loved music, played music my entire life until I was 18. And then I decided that I needed to get married and have a family. So I took a break for a really long time to raise my kids, and then went back at it in 2017 when my kids were grown and moved out of the house. And so, but anyway, we love to get out there and play, and we play every weekend, stay busy. And so, we really, that 1 2-step away is one of our signature songs. Everybody seems to like that and loves to dance to it. You're right. It's a really great dance song. So, but anyway, that's kind of where we're at.
So tell us the story behind 1 2-step away.
Okay. So that song was written by my, first producer. His name's JB Patterson. You might be familiar with him from JB and the Moonshine Band. And I met him through a happenstance meeting. He was playing a show, and I went up and talked to him, kind of told him my story and told him I had a song I wanted him to listen to. It was 3 a.m. He asked me to email him the song that I was talking about. So I emailed it to him, and within 15 minutes, he messaged me back and said, "Call me Monday. I think we have something to talk about." And so I gave him a call back on Monday, and we hit it off and just kind of had a really good working relationship. And while we were in the studio working on that song, he said, "Hey, I think I've got a song that I wrote a long time ago that I'm not going to use for anything. Wondered if you might be interested." And he sent me 1 2-step away. And I told him, I was like, "Man, that's a killer song." And, as far as changing, we just had to change some he's to she's and things like that. But he did an exceptional job writing and producing the song, and just super nice guy, made me feel comfortable in the studio. And when we came out of the studio with that one, we felt really proud of what we had. So it was just kind of a coincidence that I got it. I guess it was a God thing, because that's the only way that would have happened.
What inspired you to become a songwriter and start performing?
Well, I never really was a songwriter until 2017, and that was when I started really writing. I had pieces of songs, but never really was able to put it together. I don't play any instruments, and so I have to have someone help me with the music side of it, and I do tons better if I have somebody give me a melody and I write to that. But in 2017, I went through a really ugly divorce, and I don't think necessarily before then I had lived enough life and had enough life experience to write songs that really meant something. My style of writing is a little bit different than most people's. I don't write nonchalantly. I don't write things that aren't from personal experience. I can't pull a song out of thin air just because somebody, gave me, an idea. I have to have lived it to be able to sing it. So every single song that you hear that I do is always going to have something genuine from my life that is behind it. And so in 2017, I went through a really ugly divorce after being married for 20 years. And then that's when I wrote the song Enough. And once I got that song written, it was like everything else just kind of flowed out of me. It was just the songs just kept coming. So, you know, my writing style is a little different than most people's. I write everything from experience, but I've always been a performer. I was musically, you know, pushed whenever I was little because my entire family was all into music. We all sang as a group. Driving down the road, you weren't going to listen to the radio. We were always singing a cappella and doing all the harmonies and things like that in the car. And so it was just kind of bred into me that music was part of my life and part of my family. And so I had really great influences from my uncle and my mom and my sister. We just kind of, that was part of our life. So I started singing in church whenever I was 6, and then started doing live band shows for local Opry houses when I was 10, and just kind of grew from there.
I think we need to see more families like yours driving down the road, just jamming out with the radio off. Because
Right.
I feel like that's part of the wholesome that the country is in chaos because they're missing out on. But that just sounds, it just sounds so fun. Like I'm just listening to you and I can totally envision your family, you know, like you just see the families in the movies and they're just like, sounds so fun.
Yes. Yeah.
So if you guys are wanting to book April N. Smith, I'm going to tell you that you're going to have to look at her calendar. It is pretty full. There's like a couple of Fridays, a couple of Saturdays. She said she doesn't usually play on Sundays, but if you twist her leg, she might. She probably will. But she already has bookings all the way out until January, February, and next year even. So see if one of those dates that she has littered in this year fit for you, or get your date on the calendar for next year because she fills up fast. She doesn't sit around and wait. She is getting her calendar set and moving forward with her music. And speaking of moving forward with her music, she just released a new song here recently. I lost a screen. One church, one bar, one town. You want to tell us a little bit about this song, April?
Yeah, sure. One Church, One Bar Town was pitched to me a couple of years ago, actually, by the songwriter Helene Cronin and Christian Cooper. It was an exceptional song. I heard it, fell in love with it, because it, like I said, I could personally identify with it. And so we kind of held on to it for a long time, though, because we wanted to make sure that we had the right vision for it, the right release for it, and the production was sound around it. So we held on to it for a long time for that reason. But I knew the minute that I heard it that I wanted to release it, because I'm from a little small town called Dangerfield in East Texas. It's a little dot on the map, and all the towns around it are just very small. We're kind of in the Bible Belt, I guess you could say. So every single town, including the one that I grew up in, has at least 6 or 7 churches, almost one on every corner. But most of them are dry counties, and so there's not a lot of bars. But the premise behind it is that, you grow up and you can't wait to leave that little town. You want to get out in the big world and see what it's all about. And then what happens is you get out there in that big old world and it eats you up, and you go home. You go home to that familiarity and to the people where everybody knows your name and everybody knows who you are and your family, and they love you no matter what. And even though you may be at the bar on Friday or Saturday night, you're going to be in church on Sunday, and you mix in with both sides of the street. You mix in with both kinds of people. That's my favorite line from the song, is where it says, "My congregation meets on both sides of the street," because that's very true in my life. I do go to church. I am, a born again Christian. I, know that Jesus is my savior, but that doesn't mean that I'm better than anybody else, or that I don't mix in with everybody or judge anybody for that. And you're going to find me in a bar most of the time on a Friday or Saturday night playing music and having a good time. But I love that line. And that was really kind of what spoke to me, being from that small town. That's something that's pretty typical. Most small towns don't have a lot of bars. And so I thought that was an interesting concept to put, one church, one bar town. You grow up in that small place, but that's still home. I tried to leave twice, never sold my house there, always kept my house. And then every single time I left, I always came back to the familiarity of home. And so that's the story behind One Church, One Bar Town.
Absolutely. I can relate. I moved to Florida for 12 years and then ended up back in Illinois. Um, I'm not in Illinois anymore, obviously, but I often think, like, cause you do, you have all those people that know who you are. And then, it's easy to get lost in the world when you aren't around people who know who you are, because everyone makes you question yourself as it is
Absolutely.
in this world. So let's go ahead and listen to this song. Make sure that you tune in to Texas Brew Radio and catch it when we're spinning it. One church, one bar town.
There's not an empty seat, but you still find your place. Doors are always open to the sinners and the saints, looking for salvation, but found where it flows, with a broken down, broken up, and broken hearted goes. In this one church, one bar town, I couldn't wait to break out of this one church, one bar town, so far away, I couldn't be found. And when I'm feeling lost, I come back around to this one church, one more time.
And you're going to have to tune in tonight at the 7 o'clock mix to catch the rest of that song, or find her on all of your favorite streaming platforms. That is One Church, One Bar Town. It is definitely, when you say that, you're a believer in Christ and that you're going to find you on a Friday or Saturday night, so many people judge for stuff like that. And I love that you brought it up, because the reality of it is that he said, come as you are. He said, church is a building.
Right.
It's about the people in it. And he didn't go, preach to the people who already believed. He went to the lost, and he went, and people that are out there, drinking and don't have hope and joy in their lives are going to get that light that's radiating off of you on the stage, because you have that. And whether they know that or not, they're going to sense something different, and then they're going to follow you, and then they're going to eventually figure out why you have that joy that they've been looking for. So
Right.
awesome for bringing that up. You guys can find her on AprilNSmithmusic.com. Where else can they find you at?
Yeah, so I'm on any social media, on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I'm really trying to build my TikTok following, because I want to be able to stream live, and you have to have a lot of followers to be able to do that. And I don't have quite as many followers as I need to be able to do it. So, but on all digital streaming platforms, it's at April N. Smith Music. And you have to put that in, otherwise you're going to end up with a different April Smith. So be sure that you put at April N. Smith Music. So yeah, we're on Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon Music, any of those places. You can download, stream all those things. And we would love for you to like and follow us, so you know where we're going to be.
Absolutely. And make sure, hold on, I'm going to see if it's on here before I talk about it. Do you guys have merch on your website?
I do have a Square store. Yes, it is linked. I need to update with the new shirts for One Church, One Bar Town. I haven't gotten those up there yet, because I just got those in. So I've got to upload the shirts for that. But do have a couple of really cool shirt designs for One Church, One Bar Town, and you can purchase shirts and hats and koozies and hat pins and shot glasses and all kinds of things on the merch. So yes, there is a link for that.
Awesome. And that can be found on AprilNSmithmusic.com. Y'all, we are going to listen to the first ever song that she ever put to radio. But do you have any other exciting stories or news that we share before we tell them about this song?
Well, this song that we're fixing to listen to, I love the story behind this song because I'm a tequila drinker, and I'm not going to lie about that. I cannot drink beer, and I tell this story every single time I do this song. So I don't drink beer. It makes me literally ill, and my better half decided one night he would try to be funny and think that he could see if that was the truth, and so he dumped a beer into my drink and didn't think I would realize it, and he regretted that about 2 a.m. whenever I was sick as a dang dog. So anyway, I don't drink beer or any other thing like that, so I just drink tequila, and I always say that on the stage. And one night I was playing at my very favorite venue in the whole wide world, and I said I'm a tequila drinker, and we played this song, and I turned around and said something to the drummer, and when I turned around, there was 8 tequila shots lining the stage. And my bass player looked at me, and he was like, "Are you going to drink all those?" And I was like, "Well, it'd be rude if I didn't, because people bought those for me." It was horrible. Like, I drank all of them because, I would, at that point in time, I thought that, if somebody bought you a drink, you had to drink it, I did. I drank all of them. And let's just say Loadout that evening was very interesting because I couldn't pick up a case or do anything. But it's amazing what some cold bar fries at 2 a.m. will do for you. And by the time they got everything loaded. By the time they got everything loaded, I was fine. I wasn't sick anymore at all. But anyway, no, we always like to do this song because it's just a fun summer drinking song, good for the lake, good party. It's got a good beat to it. And so that's my crazy story behind this song.
Well, you guys can find her on your favorite streaming platforms and tune in tonight at the 7 o'clock mix. We are going to listen to One Church, One Bar Town in full. Guys, this is 4 shots.
Summer sun shining bright on the banks of the river. Her tequila's ice down in the silver shoulder to deliver. She's been waiting all week to break loose and get real loud. Straight shot shooter mixed in with the beer drinking crowd. 4 shots, a hot 91 girl, she's the life of the party. So floor number 2, listening to Bob Marley. Sergeant drinks going down, smoother than Bacardi. 4 shots, a hot 91 girl, she's the life of the party.